What's up, everybody? This is DJ Unprotected, and you are tuned into The Output. This is one of the world's greatest podcasts, definitely underrated. So it's going to be awesome, right? I know I missed last week. That's okay, because we had a very busy week before that. Went to my trip, had an awesome time in LA and San Diego, and we are going to talk about that in this episode. Lots of things are about to happen, okay? We are transitioning very much into spring. It is hot as hell right now in Texas. I think we hit, 90 degrees. So there's definitely some fashion things that we need to talk about, some color schemes that need to be addressed, all right? And then definitely my favorite thing, and you probably heard about this if you listen to the episodes when the show first started last year, is that I love rocking sandals, and you best believe it is sandal season. Okay, so as we cruise into this episode, each week I offer a question to engage you, the audience, because I love you so much. But this week's question is none other than something that's kind of typical, and I'm sure you've had this conversation before, but it is, how do you like your coffee? Now, for those of you who don't drink coffee, I'm sorry, but obviously this question does not pertain to you because it's not part of your lifestyle, and I get it. If we were talking about tea, that may work out. That could be something that we discuss in the future because I'm cultured. I like to get down on both coffee and tea. As a matter of fact, in my cup right now, I've got some chamomile tea because I'm chilling as we are recording this episode. But seriously, how do you like your coffee? Have you really thought about that? I mean, yes, if you go into a coffee shop, you go into Starbucks or another location, and there's a barista, and you're like, okay, well, you know how you like to make it at home, and you know what you like to order out. But have you really considered, how do you enjoy your coffee? Now, this question obviously does seem like a lame opener. You know what I mean? Maybe something that would be so cliche and like a dating app. Hey, so tell me about how you like your coffee or whatever. If you're planning a date, whatever that works out. But legit, I think that we should have this conversation because I have been doing a lot of thinking about it. Definitely how I oh my goodness, how I brew my coffee at the house, vice, how I go out and order it. But then I really tried to think about when you go out and order something, are you just ordering that latte, because you're supposed to order a latte, or is that because you enjoy that taste and it's not something you usually have? I don't know. Maybe I get too, I'm a kind of a deep person, so I think about this stuff. But anyway, I don't want to dive right into this quite yet, because we've got some formalities to get with. But I want to tell you guys, listen, as we roll into this episode, shout out to all of our returning listeners. Really appreciate every single one of you. You are all absolutely awesome. And in case you didn't hear that today, I am telling you right now, you are great. You are awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, and I capitalize the thank you. Thank you for push and play and listening and supporting this show. I invite you to support The Output Podcast on Instagram and Facebook because we post some behind-the-scenes stuff, the graphics for the episodes, and any new things that we're doing. And like I said, we are, in the works of having some audience appreciation opportunities, so you guys don't want to miss out. Just search for The Output Podcast, all right? So if this is your first time listening and at the end of the show, you're like, you know what, I kind of dig what this guy was saying, and you found it as entertaining as you thought it would be, or maybe I exceeded that, please hit that follow or subscribe button. Thank you again. Much love on that. You know what I'm saying? Us entertainers, people putting this stuff out. Hey, we want to tell you that I appreciate you push and play. I'm push and play after this. I'll probably listen to my podcast 2 or 3 times before that thing hits the airways, with obviously talking to myself and then, playback and editing. Whatever, you get it. All right, so look, let me go back to this coffee thing, all right? And that's going to be the first topic, is becoming a coffee snob. I hate to use that word snob, but honestly, it's kind of getting to that point. Why? At work, I was sitting there and I was kind of low. I didn't bring a K-cup with me. Someone was like, hey, I've got something for you. Now, I know Keurigs. Look, I've got a Keurig, and it's great because it's the convenience of it. I've tried different things, different types of coffee, the really expensive stuff, the really cheap stuff. yes, the really expensive stuff is better. I think it's a better quality, right? Better taste than like the super cheap stuff that you buy that's like on sale, and it's like maybe you're paying like 20 cents a cup. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I can taste the difference. It's like more acidic or whatever. But I was also like grinding my own beans and then putting them in that small reusable cup because I felt bad about tossing out plastic all the time. So I was doing that a lot, like, you know, and I learned some stuff. So I want to say this, that within the last year, I kind of became a coffee snob because of all that time of quarantine. And then here in Texas in February when we had the snowcapocalypse, you know, which taught me, you know, what the perfect cup of coffee is. And in my research at that time, I was looking up, you know, Beethoven, right? One of my favorite composers. A lot of people loved his music. But in part of his routine, he would make a cup of coffee that was basically just 60 beans. He would count out 60 beans, grind them, and make his small cup of coffee. I'm guessing it was probably just a pour over is what he did. But so that's what I would do. I'd count out like 60 beans. Now, I did learn that it's really, 60 is kind of light for me. But the happy medium of flavor, taste, and like caffeine level was like right between 60 and 80 beans. So like, honestly, the sweet number for me was right around 70 to 75. Okay. It could go left or right and it still worked out well, but that was kind of like the number. So if I was counting and one or two extras fell in there, 70 to 75 was like the perfect amount of beans for, you know, the 8 to 10 ounce cup of coffee. That worked really well. So, you know, man, I just got a text message, threw me off, popped up on the iPad. So anyway, you know, that became the perfect cup of coffee. And I really thought about it. Like, why do I enjoy this more than popping in a plastic cup, you know, hitting that brew and then trying to enjoy something with my breakfast? And the truth is that, you know, I started to notice the flavor, the kind of taste, obviously taste, flavor, but you know what I'm saying? How it like would hit my tongue. And I thought about the acidity of it. Was it harsh? You know, what was it like on the finish? Now, from smoking cigars, I know they use the term finish because that's kind of like after you know, blow out the smoke, you know, what would kind of be retained, like was it peppery or whatever? Like there's always an aftertaste, but it's just called the finish. Aftertaste, I think, comes later on. But anyway, so like I was thinking about that. Like, what about this perfect cup of coffee do I enjoy, vice that plastic K-cup? And it really did come down to like, you know, the acidity. I would definitely say probably the flavor. I thought that it was more enjoyable to have like the perfect ground type of beans. Now, I do want to say to not over grind it. I did do that. You know, I was grinding them a little, grind my beans a little too much, and it definitely affected the taste. So I had to be like a perfect medium type of grind, and that was like a good cup of coffee. You know, so I've learned that I really do love a quality cup. I usually drink my coffee black. Sometimes I'll have a splash of almond milk in there, depending on, you know, the type of K-cup or whatever kind of coffee I'm using. But generally, you know, I take it black, and I enjoy that experience. Now, I'm saying that what happened at work is I didn't have a K-cup with me, and somebody was going to offer something, and I was like, you know, I'm going to pass. It was a Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup, K-cup. And I ended up like, no, I'm good. You know, I'll just tough it out. I appreciate the gesture, but I didn't want it because I bought like a bag of Dunkin' Donuts ground coffee beans, and I was using that to make my individual cups in the reusable K-cup filter. So then I had to just accept myself and be like, all right, look, am I becoming a coffee snob, and why? And then what do I really appreciate about this experience? And I think that's fine. Like, if I'm going to have, you know, 2 to 3 cups of coffee in the morning, like, it should be an enjoyable experience. Obviously, unless you're in a hustle and bustle mode and you got to get to work, you're just trying to get something in the cup so that you can wake up on the way. That's a different story. But if it can be enjoyed, why not enjoy it, you know? So I was doing some research, and I asked some friends actually on my trip, because we went to get breakfast at this one spot. It was more like brunch, but we got the French press. Like, they had a French press option. And I said, hey, guys, you know, are you cool with splitting a French press? That was a pretty good size. So we did, and I asked them, like, you guys like this? And they were like, yeah, like, we have one of them had a French press. The other one was doing pour overs and had a coffee pot at the house. And they got away from doing the Keurig, you know, the quick single cup type of thing. So my new venture and interest is French press, get a cool, you know, a hot kettle with a temperature gauge, because that right around 200 degrees is the perfect temperature that you want to get the water to. You don't want it to be boiling, but you want it like right below boiling. And then obviously it's going to take some patience, right? Because, you know, so you're not getting too much gas or acidity or whatever happens when you pour the water into the coffee and let it kind of brew, you know, sit for a steep, I think they call it. You let it steep. Well, if you rush it and, you know, push the process, then you're going to have some negative effects to it. So it's going to take some patience. You know, I get that. Now, guys, I want to caveat this, right? I still will use my Keurig without a doubt. Why? Because sometimes I'm a last minute man. You know, it does take me a while to get ready in the morning, and maybe I don't give myself enough time to make that perfect cup of coffee. I'm not against it. I will totally pour a single cup of coffee in a pinch. I don't mind it. You know, I've had my Keurig for 7 years. I descale it every, 90 days. I like to think I take good care of it. The only issues I've had with it, other than sometimes tossing in a shitty K-cup in there, is sometimes it doesn't give me a full cup of coffee. And it may come down to just like, maybe I should just do a full day of descaling this thing, because I'm sure there's a lot of like buildup. I mean, I know the water here in San Antonio is hard as a mofo. So there's that. So I can't really blame it, because 7 years and that thing's got a lot of use. Pretty cool, right? So it works out well, but I'm definitely excited this weekend to, step into the French press world, elevate my coffee game at the house. Because my breakfast game is pretty solid. Like, I can cook a dope breakfast and a dope brunch. Now that I've got this stepping up, man, I'll tell you what, there's going to be some lucky lady here in the future, without a doubt. So that's like the latest thing for me. Obviously when I go to a coffee shop, if I go to Starbucks, I do, I'll tell you the white chocolate latte is really good. I'll take whatever seasonal latte they've got with almond milk and steamed at like 120 degrees. If it's a lot hotter than that, like, I can't drink it. And you got to sit there and wait for the coffee to be like a comfortable temperature to enjoy. I hate sitting there trying to baby sip your coffee. Like, you're sitting there like maybe taking a sip every few minutes without trying to burn the shit out of your mouth. Like, I'm cool with a warm or hot cup, but I don't need something piping hot. So that's a trick I learned. Barista that I used to hit up all the time. She told me, she was like, hey, like, we can, because I would say, hey, don't make it so hot, please. And she was like, okay, well, you can request to like get it steamed. And I, suggested I'm ready around maybe 120 to 125. So you're welcome, guys. If I taught you something, that's what's up. But let's talk about my trip follow-up. So over a week ago, I went to, it was a great trip. Went to Los Angeles, San Diego, a quick turnaround trip to Las Vegas. That was on the whim. But I had a great time. And prior to that trip, in the last podcast episode, I talked about packing. There is a lot of stress that goes behind packing. You don't want to forget your toiletries, your chargers. You make your lists, right? And then you got to figure out what clothes you're going to bring to enjoy on this trip. And you guys know, like, my standpoint on that is that if you are traveling, you should pick out the best, your favorite stuff for those days. So for me, like an example, I've got these favorite polo pants that are like joggers. They're really comfortable to hang out in. Those are like my chill pants. So sleeping in, hanging out in a hotel room or whatever I'm doing, lounging in the morning, that's what I'm bringing. That's what I'm rocking. I love those things, right? So you do stuff like that. Now, here's where I disappointed the shit out of myself on this trip. I brought some nice dress shirts just to be safe. So maybe I shouldn't say disappointed myself, but I may have disappointed the clothes I brought because they didn't get utilized. So always bring some night shirts, right? So a couple, a polo, at least a polo, because you never know, and then a couple button-up shirts for this trip. So you want to For me, my outlook is you want to bring like at least like a couple night shirts in case you end up going out. So you got your clothes that you're wearing during the day. You're not doing a bunch of wardrobe changes, but if you want to go out and have a collared shirt, like there it is, you know, and it was getting warmer when we were out there. So, you know, obviously I was wearing t-shirts during the day. But anyway, I came back. There was 2 shirts, you know, 2 button-ups that I didn't wear and a polo. So my perspective on this is that, like, when you do that and you come back and open up your suitcase when you're back in the house and, like, there in your suitcase or bag or whatever you've got, you have some clothes that feel left out. Like, oh, word, you wore everybody else. Everyone else in here is dirty, and we didn't get no love on this trip. Like, what happened? You packed us up. We couldn't hang out with our friends in the closet, but now you put us in this bag, and we didn't get used. Like, how much do you really love us? For real. You just want to travel with us, make us see some different places, possibly put us into some contact with bed bugs. You know what I mean? So, like, my poor outfits. So I let them down, but it's okay because I'll wear them. But now I know, like, you know, if you're going to go on those type of business trips or whatnot, to plan, like, okay, maybe you only need 1 or 2 night shirts. And, hey, if you happen to need a third because you're on a 4 or 5th day trip, looks like you're rewashing what you wore a few days prior. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, are people, other than who you're visiting on these trips, are random strangers going to recognize you more than once? Again, probably not. So it's all good. No need to stress over packing. And then, man, try to show all your clothes love. So I absolutely love Los Angeles, and I absolutely love San Diego. That's what we hit on this trip. I love the beautiful weather, right? So here's the whys behind all of this. I love the beautiful weather. I absolutely love the energy. It's a, you know, it's a different location. People tend to have like this hippie type of vibe attitude. And the other thing is, you know, some people say, oh, California people are rude, but did not experience that at all. Matter of fact, one of these gas stations we hit, the gas station attendant would actually serve your coffee because he was like, hey, with, you know, COVID and regulation, like, I got to serve this stuff for you. But he was patient. He didn't help anyone else. Like, if they walked in while he was serving, he wasn't like, oh, let me help them. He was like, how do you like your coffee? Blah, blah, blah. Adding the creamers, whatever people wanted. So thought that was really cool. Like, and nobody was real pushy about it who was coming in. You know what I mean? So you kind of gotta respect that. But I just love the views, like palm trees. You can, if you're, I don't know, near LA, you can go check out Venice Beach. You know what I mean? Drive around, see some awesome stuff, you know. And I get that there's probably a different perspective, right? So the visitor versus living there perspective is probably different. I don't live there. You know what I'm saying? So I probably really appreciate the different view, the fact that you just see these tall palm trees, different types of palm trees all over. And we kind of refer to those as like paradise. And you know what I mean? Like those images, at least that's what it means to me when you see palm trees and stuff. Like you think of vacations, paradise, you know, beautiful scenery, right? Those postcards from islands always have a palm tree on it. It's just how it is. So I always find them beautiful, though. They're really cool. And then there's like the energy of the people. You know, it was cool going shopping out there, walking around. It's just a different scene. So I really just like the energy. I find it inspiring, and I'm definitely like I'm an individual who believes that, like, if you feel your life is kind of stale, stagnant, you're not maybe excited about anything, then you need to find an opportunity to travel. You know what I mean? Step away from the job for a little bit and go somewhere. And it could be a local travel too. You can be like, you know, I'm going to go to this thing several hours away. Like, get a different type of scene, you know, and reignite that creativity. Now, I get that some people, you know, take like this idea of like being creative only for individuals who are involved in arts. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can go out and like find creativity, like an inspiration for whatever type of job you have, to problem solve, to maybe meet new people, to have a different approach to meetings. Whatever you do, man, new situations can totally help enhance that part of your life. So I'm a huge fan of that. I definitely think it's good for me. I know I feel it. Like, I came back and I've been working on several different songs here in the studio that I'm going to be finishing up this weekend. And I was just so inspired. Like, you got to capitalize on that stuff. So hold on one second. I'm taking a drink, and I don't have sound effects for you guys. So, so hang tight. All right. So love LA and San Diego. And then we also slid through Las Vegas. It was a quick trip, but I absolutely love that too. It's exciting. You meet new people. Now, Las Vegas is absolutely open. 100% open, other than people walking around with masks and, like, I'll say some of the table games, they limited the seats and, you know, people talking with each other. There's like plexiglass in between the different players, but, you know, it's it's different, but everybody's there. Like, there's just a lot of people around, and people who smoke, they pull their mask down. But if your mask was hanging around your chin, somebody was going to tell you have to pull your mask up, you know? So, but I still thought it was cool. Like, the hand sanitizer and shit was everywhere. I wasn't that stressed about, like, being around people and all that jazz because, you know, received all of my vaccinations. So no worries there. You guys already know about that. I'm not going to get on that soapbox today. But there's also tons of entertainment. And you know that if you got money in your pocket and you're trying to gamble or have some fun, like, entertainment's going to come at a cost, and you're probably going to lose that money in your pocket. But that's all right. You know that going into it, so it's not a total loss, you know. So really just enjoyed it. But again, the same thing with Vegas. You know, you have that visitor versus living there perspective. I'm just a visitor. I love it. But I'll tell you guys that I want to live there. You know, I really want to live in Vegas. That's like my future home whenever I'm done with my job. That's where I'm going to live and continue on with my music hustle and entertainment and media stuff. So I'm going to live there because I like the energy. I feel like it would be inspiring to me. I'm in a good location. Shit, I'm a 4.5 hour drive, you know, from there to San Diego, or like 4 hour drive to Los Angeles, or however it matches up. So I think it's a cool location. So I'm speaking it into existence. In the future, I will absolutely be living there. Now, let's talk about some summer trends, because I thought it was cool traveling. You get to see different people, what people are rocking. Obviously, different fashion on the West Coast than what we've got available here in Texas, even though I've been to like these, you know, outlet stores and stuff like that. You know, so it's an interesting time, like I said, because I have got to figure out to turn off these text messages, because I'm here talking and I see like the outline for the show, and then messages pop up, people asking me questions, and I want to respond. And apparently my brain is like, wait, what? You want to do what? So, but anyway, fashion trends like for 2021. And I think people need to get in, you know, get with it, because we're going to be more social. People are going to be out and about. More things are definitely going to be open. And you got to dress right. No one wants to show up wearing some, you know, old gear. Cargo shorts are still out. So in case anybody wants to take note on this, cargo shorts are out. I'm not saying you can't wear them. I'm just saying that, like, they're just not in. So you can rock them. Those pockets are convenient. There are things about cargo shorts that I really like, but they're still not in. So I'm sorry, everybody, if you rock cargo shorts. No one's going to call you out, but just know that they're not in. All right. But the other thing is, okay, I like wearing sandals, and I'm excited that it's getting hot. Like here, it's probably about, like, it was like 90 something degrees, super hot. But the other day, I was going to wear sandals, but I came home from work, and, you know, was wearing higher socks for work. And what had happened was, I'm going to turn my iPad onto night mode, so it leaves me. Okay, there it is. I figured it out. All right. So should not be disturbed anymore. It's no one else's fault. It's my fault. But anyway, so sandals, wearing them, there's this whole thing with, like, I was having these sock lines up my leg, and then I was like, dang it, I can't wear sandals, because what do I want to be walking around with, like, these indents in my leg from wearing, you know, high socks for whatever I do for my job. That's something to consider. So I'm going to sit there and, like, massage my calf until, like, the the imprints of the socks gets out of there. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe nobody else worries about that, but I definitely do. But absolutely excited that it's going to be easy to just pop on some shorts, slide on some sandals, get a t-shirt, and slide out the door. Now there's no like in between of, do you need to wear a jacket? Do you need a long sleeve shirt? Like, no, I'm kind of looking forward to, and I always appreciate this time of year when you can just wear a t-shirt for like 24/7. It's not a big deal. You could go out without a jacket, still wear the t-shirt, and you're not going to be cold. So there's that. But next week we'll definitely have some what's hot, what's not coming out for this summer season to give some insight on it and to see where I'm at as well. Yeah, I will say shoe wise, like the shoe game. So Adidas and Pumas, man, I was super impressed with what outlets and stores had out in Cali. Definitely picked myself up some cool Adidas, and I'm definitely going to get some Pumas. So I'm like, I said this in an episode, I'm a professional packer. And by doing that, I brought what I needed and didn't have much room to bring stuff back. So I only got there was only room to bring back one pair of shoes, and I really want to get another pair. But hey, I'll be able to find them elsewhere. No loss there, so it's all good. All right, so let's talk about some music here. And I'm going to give you guys a story. So last year, because of being quarantined, whatever, I was involved in quite a few music groups on Facebook. And in these music groups, you get these underground music groups, people sharing music, people going live, playing their live music, and I like it. I like to support artists. I like to hear musicians doing cover songs or rappers, doing freestyles over beats or whatnot. I think that stuff is really cool. Or they do these music review shows. I was very interested in that. But in the process of sitting in one of those music review shows, I connected with these cool artists out of Atlanta, super talented. And so the one guy was he wrote hooks and choruses. So we just kept in touch. And every month or two, be like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Talking about music, playing music here in the studio while we're, video chatting over Facebook. It was real cool. Then didn't talk to him for a few months. Well, check this out. This bum-ass rapper hits me up the other day on some type of scam, right? Sends me a weird message. And you know what? Let me pull it up for you. Let me see if I still got it because it's worth walking through. All right. So he hits me up and it's really weird. He's like, hey fam. So I'm like, yo, what's up, my dude? I haven't talked to you in a while. And he's like, I'm good. My bad. I said, dude, don't worry. I'm glad you're doing good. And he asked me where I was. Told him I'm here still in Texas. He said, oh. He's like, I want to get some stuff at home and don't got cash on my Cash App. So I got to get card to get the stuff. Is there any Walmart store nearest you? So I didn't really respond because I was busy. And then I got a whole bunch of question marks. So I just responded, no. Okay. And then he writes me, he goes, oh my God, how can you get me that then? I got to credit you back. And I was like, I don't know what he's talking to me about. Maybe he was doing some deals or something with somebody else, but I was confused. So I said, hey, I think you're hitting up the wrong guy because I have no idea what you're talking about, LOL. And he was like, I want you to help me get a card from the Walmart store. You got me now? And I said, no, I don't. So then, a couple hours later, this dude messages me and he goes, you gonna buy me the card at Walmart store now? Steam wallet gift card for $100. I'm not gonna sit there and waste energy trying to deal with someone's BS, but obviously he's trying to push some threatening scam or whatever it was gonna be. So I will say that I just blocked his ass real quick because before it got to any point of this dude saying or what, you know what I'm saying, or me asking what if I don't get you that or else. I'm not feeding that beast. I don't feed into that negativity. You want to slide into my DMs with some negative stuff? Look, I'm down to help people out, but that's shady. I'm going to buy that $100 card, take picture of it, send you the number so you can type it in or buy some Visa card. I don't even know. What is a Steam card? What's a $100 Steam card? A wallet gift card, Steam wallet gift card. I don't know. I don't mess with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So not judge anybody who does. I just don't get it. But to me, it seemed like a scam, and I don't play that. So his ass got blocked. Seems like we're not going to be doing music business together going forward, and that's fine. I don't play those shady games. And, You're not going to come at me like I got to give you money and you're not giving something in return. Like, sorry, man. I'm not just losing money like that. Obviously, I'm not unless I'm donating, that's a different thing. But anyway, got to keep your eye out on some scammers. So, to that dude, find another hustle, man. I'm not even going to say his name because that's paying the wrong type of energy. But maybe you guys found that entertaining. I don't know. Got to watch out for those Facebook groups that I landed in a year ago. All right, so listen. What's hot in my playlist right now? I will tell you the one song that has been getting played a lot is called Kimi Casanova, Keemy, and then Casanova by Akeem, A-K-E-E-M Ali. Akeem Ali, and the song is Kimi Casanova. It's a cool song. It's got a little bit of retro vibe and all that stuff. So it's, yeah, definitely one getting a lot of play. I love it, man. I'm like playing that joint when I get out of the shower or whatever else I'm doing. It's just a cool track. Hold on one second. Got to take a drink. Yo, sometimes that chamomile tea hits right. So, real quick, don't mean to like get off topic, but with my new venture into like, feeding my, my coffee habits, I got this like perfect kettle. Obviously, I think, with the temperature, but I'm excited to like test that out with tea. So I have some like really good tea, peppermint tea and stuff. And I think that'll add to the experience, So this tea is really good. I like it in the evening. All right, my bad. Okay, the next song that's hot in my playlist is Nightlight by Illenium and Annika Wells. It's the Moti remix. Now, Illenium is like got some headline spots performing with Cascade and stuff and upcoming events. So really like Illenium's music. It's dope. So those two songs are getting like some heat, some constant play in my playlist right now. And I have no regrets about it. Like I just put that joint on repeat, and recently I actually learned that like you can turn on the repeat thing in your Apple Music. I'm an Apple Music subscriber, so you can like put repeat on in the tracks, which to me is like really cool. So I do that on these, and you can even just do it once and then the rest of the mix just keeps playing. So anyway, listen, I know we covered this week's question, so we released the steam on that, so there's no need to retouch on that one, but I will definitely keep you guys informed of how my new, exploration of coffee and my love for it goes next week, because I'm sure it's going to be dope. Very excited. All right, guys, so listen, thank you again for tuning in to The Output with me, DJ Unprotected. This is episode 38. All right, so if you enjoyed this podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google, please consider giving us a rating. Smash that thumbs up button, that like button, 5 stars. We love it all. And if you like this podcast, please share it with your friends and tag us. We will share what you tag. So hit up the Output Pod on Instagram and Facebook, and we absolutely reshare your content and your love for us. So really appreciate any support that you guys can give this show. Thank you to everybody. All right, so I hope you're picking up what we're putting out. We've got a lot to say, so tune in on your favorite streaming platform next week for a brand new episode. Hope you all have a great weekend. Be safe, have fun, have a great cup of coffee and tea if that's your thing, all right? And live your best life. We out.